What's up, guys? Back again for some more One Piece action. Today we got chapter 1073 entitled Miss Buckingham Stussy. Alright, so if you guys remember at the end of the last chapter, we got the big reveal that the Stussy we saw in Cipher Pol was actually a clone of the original Miss Buckingham Stussy from the Rocks Pirates, and that clone was made by Mads. But, because we got that reveal, it kind of led to some theories, some people thinking, I was kind of thinking, okay, if Stussy's a clone, and one of my fans pointed out that her Japanese name, it translates, and Miss Bucking is Miss Stussy, or is Miss Buckingham Stussy, the original one, right? So that made me start wondering, okay, is Weevil actually a Whitebeard clone and not the actual son of Whitebeard? Because I feel like that would make so much more sense. And Weevil, I kind of feel like he got introduced into the story, but we didn't really do anything with him, and he didn't really add a whole lot, but now it kind of would make sense that it was just setting him up for kind of what we got going on now. So let's jump right into the chapter. So on the cover story, okay, we're going back, we got some mad stuff. It says, Germa's Emotionless Excursion, Volume 29, The Flower That Grows in Gunpowder. Vegapunk receives the Ibel Prize for the GP flower, right? And we see Vegapunk, he still got his big head, his tongue's hanging out. And then we see Queen and what's his name? Mr. Laugh at Punk Hazard over there, and we see Judge back there, and they're all kind of just looking on like, ah. But let's jump right into the chapter. Okay, so we're going right back to Egghead Island. We see the Labosphere, and some of the damage that it took. The Seraphim, the Mihawk Seraphim, it kind of cut off the top part of the dome right there. And it says, what will Rob Lucci do in the face of betrayal? Alright, so we're going right back to see what Lucci's response to Stussy is when she, the clone of Stussy that said she was going to put him to sleep. And then we see Kaku, he's out cold on the ground right now. He's reverted back to his human form. And then we see Lucci, he's got the lines on his face. He's looking a little stressed right there. And he's like, I don't believe this. And then we see Miss Stussy right there. She still got a grin, and she's kind of wiping off her bottom lip right there. And then what do we got? And then it says, Kami, Unbroken Heart, Zenshin. Okay, so we see Lucci going in to attack Stussy, but it looks like it doesn't really do anything, or that's like a mirage of her. He's like, if you won't accept it, should I kill you first? Okay, and we see Stussy right there. And okay, it looks like she's pulling out lipstick or something. And he says, geez, you're so wild. And okay, she touches him, so it's Sea Stone, because he's like, oh, Kairoseki. Okay, so that's weakening him right there. And then we see Stussy opening up. Her fangs are out. Looks like she's getting ready to bite down. Yep, and she just chomps down into the neck of Lucci right there. We see, what's his name? Hattori, the pigeon. He's like flying away. And then, okay, so what exactly is there like venom in Stussy's fangs that puts people to sleep? Is that how it works, or what's going on? And we see Lucci, he's like trying to resist the urge to fall asleep. He's like, and then we see Stussy's like, I know you guys are strong, so I'm not going to fight you head on. And then, okay, right in the next panel, you just see Lucci fall over. His hat falls off. We see Hattori, or the pigeon, whatever his name is, kind of flying around. And then Stussy's like, please forgive me. Okay. And then we see, okay, it looks like Zoro's kind of walking up to the scene right now. We see Brook looking on from up on top of the Sunny. And he's like, huh? Wait a minute. What is the meaning of this? Why is CP0 attacking CP0? Alright, so Brook and Zoro both kind of confused about what's going on right now. And we see Zoro, he's like, are they split amongst themselves? So he's wondering, okay, are they having like some internal strife or what's going on? And, so Brook and Zoro don't realize that inside the main Vegapunk, he actually contacted someone to give them some assistance. And then that's when we're seeing Stussy kind of, taking out Kaku and Lucci. But it doesn't make sense if you think about it that Vegapunk would call the Stussy clone, because she was literally standing right next to Kaku and Lucci. So if she would have responded, she would have been, they would have overheard her. And not to mention when Vegapunk was talking to the person that he's speaking to on the phone, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and this might blow your cover, and the world's gonna start looking for you. And that makes a lot more sense if he was actually contacting the original Miss Buckingham Stussy, which aka Miss Bocking, and that probably means that Weevil, is with her, which would make sense of why they're hiding from the world government, since, Shishibukai got abolished. Weevil had to kind of go into hiding because they were trying to capture him. So if Vegapunk is helping out Miss Bocking and Weevil's there, maybe we'll get to see him, get some confirmation whether he's actually a clone or not, but that's awesome. Alright, and then we see, okay, so Stussy busts out a Den Mushi, and she's like, it's Stussy. I put both of them to sleep. And then, okay, maybe not. Maybe it was her, but he's like, amazing. Stussy's made her move. York, hold on tight. Okay, and then we see the Vegapunks, collecting everything. And then, okay, we're going back inside, and we see Usopp, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, Nami's like, did Rob Lucci get beaten up? And they're like, well, what a surprise. Even after 20 years in hiding, she remains our ally. Did you send your own spy into the intelligence agency? I didn't mean to, but that's how it turned out. Okay, I guess maybe the way she answered, she wasn't standing right next to them, so that's how she was able to answer. I'm kind of confused right now. Or maybe it is the original Miss Bocking Stussy. We'll see. Alright, we see Stussy. But Doctor, Lucci and I have the same level of authority. I can't override his orders. I can't stop them. Alright, and then we see the Seraphim. They're still heading in right now. The Vegapunks haven't made contact with the Seraphims in order to override the commands that Lucci gave them. So right now they're still kind of acting on CP0's orders to destroy the Labosphere. And then what do we got? Okay, it looks like the Boa, Seraphim is getting ready to fire off an attack. Says, you've done enough, Stussy. We're on our way. And then we see Edison them rushing out to try to get to the Seraphims. And then we see Zoro and Brook, they're running away right now. And they're like, so pretty much if we don't stop those kids, we'll be pinned here. It seems, however, those kids, I feel like I've seen them before. Alright, so, this is kind of their first encounter with the Seraphims. And they're starting to kind of recognize, like, that looks like someone I've run into before, someone I've seen. So even though it's not their fully grown forms, they're recognized, they've met the people in person, so they're starting to recognize some of those same characteristics. And then we see, okay, the Kuma Seraphim is over there, and he's got his hand up, getting ready to fire off a big beam. And then looks like Jinbei Seraphim over there is getting ready to do maybe some Fishman karate. And then, okay, yeah, Zoro's like, same, especially him, and he's talking about the Kuma and the Jinbei Seraphims. Alright, what do we got? Okay, so all of a sudden you just see a huge explosion from where the Seraphims, shot everything up. And then they're like, damn it, they destroyed the lab. But for some reason, it's easier to go exit. Okay. And then, what's her name? She's like, oh, I'm finally outside. And then looking down, you see the Mihawk Seraphim. He's got his sword cocked back. He's getting ready to launch another attack. And she's like, hey, you, Seraphim. Shing! And then it locks right onto her face. So he's getting ready to attack. And then all of a sudden, he's like, beep, 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 beep. And we see two hands getting ready to draw a sword. So it looks like Zoro's getting ready to rush in and block the attack right there. And then, yep, literally, boom, he got both his swords up. Seraphim is crashing down right there, and they're just clashing. And you just see big energy. And then Zoro's like, the closer I look, the more I see some humanity in you. Alright, so he's seeing something. He's like, well, what the hell are you? And he kind of gets, knocked back a little bit by the attack. And then we see, we see the Vegapunks up there. They're like, what in the world? He's like, leave it to me. Seraphim, stop. Right as Jinbei Seraphim is firing off an attack right there. Alright, stop attacking. And we see kind of, it looks like maybe the last explosion that was fired off before the actual command was given. And then we see Edison. He's screaming out Edison. And then she's like, no way, he's... Alright, so maybe she's surprised that a pirate is the one that saved her. Edison, because she was, locked on by the Mihawk Seraphim. He had her dead to rights, was getting ready to draw his sword. And then Zoro comes flying in. And then, it looks like Sanji's behind the other one. And she's like, that's dangerous. And then Edison, okay. Or I might be getting the names mixed up. The Seraphim stopped. What the hell are these? Explain. So Zoro's looking on them, and we see all the Seraphims kind of just standing there. And it says, Shaka, I put sea stone on Lucci and Kaku. Okay, so looks like Stussy kind of giving them an update right now about what's going on. Says, thank you, Stussy. We are leaving the island. You should come too. Understood. Hey, you're just adding more people. You know, Usopp's like, hey, damn it. We already got, 7 of the Vegapunks he's taking along with him. Now we got to throw Stussy on there. Plus, Bonnie's probably going to be hitching a ride. Like, the Sunny's getting kind of full right now. And then, okay, we're cutting back inside. And it looks like, okay, we got Luffy going in looking for Bonnie, who in the last chapter we saw her kind of, isolating Vegapunk. And then that's when she discovered, the giant floating paw of Kuma's memories. It says, old man Punk, where did that old man go? I can't leave without him. And then we see Chopper kind of in the background as well. All right. And then it says, okay, so we're panning out. So now in this panel, it pulls out and we're just looking at Egghead Island as a whole. And then, in the little box it says, however, an event will occur. The disappearance of Dr. Vegapunk. All right, which disappearance? Is this like Bonnie's going to take him somewhere? Or, what's going on? And then, okay, it says New World, Sphinx Island. Okay, so I think this is Whitebeards. Oh, man, are we about to get something with Whitebeard and, the Rocks Pirates flashback and Mads and, explanation of Weevil. And it says hometown of the pirate Whitebeard. And then someone's calling out to Marco right there. And, right now it looks all peaceful, the village. And then what do you got? Okay, so we got these 2 kids and they're like, it was really scary. And one of them's like, no, I wasn't scared. And they're like, the Marines came. And Marco over there, he's like, my bad, guys. Sorry you guys had to go through all that. So Marco, when he had to leave to go fight at Wano and help out Luffy and the gang, he had to leave the island unattended. So I guess during that time, the Marines showed up, kind of hassled everyone. And Marco was like, damn, my bad, guys, my bad. And then they're like, it's not Marco's fault. It's those mean Marines' fault. And then we just see the ... coming out of Marco's mouth right there. And then it said, they said they want to take away Whitebeard's treasure. They sound just like pirates. And then, okay, so giving a little flashback right there. And it says, stay still and there won't be any casualties. So the Marines kind of looking like some menacing Marines are the ones that showed up. Not necessarily, we know not all Marines are bad, but looks like these particular ones might be a little on the corrupt side or a little vindictive side. And then what do we got? It says, okay, so we got one of the Marines says, this place isn't allied with the world government. Laws won't protect you here. Okay, so because they're not an ally with the world government, these naval soldiers feel like they can kind of do whatever since it's outside of their, alliance. So they don't need to respect their laws with them because they're not a part of their system. And then they're like, Whitebeard treasure's got to be here. If you don't tell us, if you don't tell us, we'll take it as rebelling against the Marines. All right, so they're under the impression, Whitebeard, he was this great pirate. He was one of the 4 Yonko. He's got to have this massive amount of treasure somewhere. But not realizing, we've kind of been explaining this situation before. Like, Whitebeard wasn't all about the treasure. When they took on loot, they would divvy it up or whatever. But Whitebeard would take all the money that he got for his portion and he would send it back to this village to take care of them and everything like that. Which is why he always had his underlings, buying him booze and buying him food and stuff, even though he was the captain and should have had the most money. All his money was getting sent back here. And, obviously these people were just using that to live their lives and, support their business, support, just the town in general. So there's probably not a lot of it, still lingering around, and definitely not probably in one concentrated area. And then, okay, this Marine literally is pulling a gun on a little kid. He's like, if we shoot each one of you at a time, maybe you'll tell us. And the kid, he's crying, he's freaking out right there. And then it says, no, we don't point that gun at my younger brother. Okay, so, Big Brother's stepping in, and Big Brother's all still about this tall, so but he's stepping in, he's trying to protect his younger brother. He's like, we got to give you guys money just to be treated like human beings, you scum. And then the Marine's like, are you sure? Acting so tough even though Marco isn't here. Alright, so the Marines know that Marco isn't there. They're like, there's no one to protect you. You sure you want to be acting all tough, little boy? And then they're like, tell us. And then, okay, looks like some old lady's trying to, you know, stop it, and she's stepping in the middle, and she's like, stop this. And they're like, Obachan. And then, okay, Marine, he gets his gun up, he's aiming right at her. And all the rest of the townspeople, they're like, stop it. That's the elderly. You can't be killing the elderly. And then they're screaming for her, and he's just aiming. Excuse me. All right. And then what do we got? Oh, damn. Here comes Weevil. Yes, so we did get to see Weevil in this chapter. So Weevil coming out and just launching this massive attack right there. And he's like, don't lay your hands on my hometown. And just smashes all the naval guys. Damn. All right, so before we go any further, what are you guys thinking? Is Weevil actually the son of Whitebeard, you know, Edward Newgate, and Miss Buckingham Stussy, a.k.a. Miss Bocking? Or is he actually a clone of Whitebeard that was created by Maz? What are you guys thinking? We guys thinking clone, or are we thinking legitimate son? You know, given everything and what we're kind of seeing, and, you know, the science route that we've been going, you know, this arc, I gotta say, I'm really feeling like he's a clone. Like, it just makes the most sense to me, and it would kind of open up more possibilities, I feel like, for his story and involvement and with what's going on. But let's see. And he's like, this is Dada's hometown, so he just looks pissed. He's got like this menacing look on his face. He's screaming at them. And we already know from, you know, his brief introduction into the story that he is quite strong. So it's no fluke. Like, he is definitely still a beast. And then the naval guys are like, oh my god, it's Weevil. And they're, you know, they're stuttering and freaking out. And then all of a sudden they're turning tail and they're running away. Like, they can't do anything to take on Weevil. Not, you know, regular Navy soldiers or Marines. You know what I mean? It's got to be like, I'd say at least probably Vice Admiral or higher. And even Vice Admiral, you're probably going to need a few Vice Admirals to kind of hold your own against Weevil, I'd say. And then it says, a naval ship should have been headed toward them after the warlords were disbanded. Yeah, so how did Weevil escape? Because he's a beast. And then it says, we couldn't come into contact with their military unit. They got defeated. Everyone. Just as we thought. His strength is monstrous. Alright, so, you know, still up in the air. Son, clone. Let's see. And then, okay, so it looks like they escape back to their ship, the Marines, and says, get back to the ships. We'll wait for more reinforcement. Calling from Sphinx. The former warlord Weevil has shown up. We need backup. Okay. Then what do we got? Okay, so, okay, now we're flashing back. This is Marco talking to the kids, getting, you know, that playback from them is like, if that huge guy hadn't come, our village would have been toast. And then Marco's like, oh, he really was a hero. I'm glad you're all safe. And they're like, but Marco, who do you think showed up right after that? Okay, it looks like we got Miss Bocking right there. And then it says, Kizaru. Here's the tea and snacks. Oh, man. Kizaru coming in the mix. And he's like, did you test for poison in all of them? Of course. I'll deliver them. Stay back. Yes. Okay, so we got the Marine flag flapping in the wind right there. And then right below it, we see the world government flag flapping. And then, okay, we see we got Kizaru. So the admiral has arrived on the scene at Egghead. It says, Dr. Vegapunk, I see. Have you met each other? Oh, okay, so looks like Kizaru is speaking directly to one of the Gorosei right here. He's like, a long time ago, just once. It is quite disappointing how things have become lately. And it says, the world's highest power, the 5 elder stars, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Alright, I can't remember. I think this is the first Gorosei that we've ever actually gotten their name for them, you know what I mean? I think we've always just used kind of nicknames to describe the Gorosei, but now we're actually getting the name of one of them, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. All right, so he's the one that kind of has, like, you know, the little short dreads right there. He's got the big scar on his eye, and it says the highest powers are moving mysteriously. All right, so we already know, you know, the order probably came from the Gorosei or from Im to execute Vegapunks because of either what he, you know, they found out what he was doing. They know that he's going to find out something, or, you know, whatever their true reasoning, whether we know it already or whether there's more that we haven't been revealed yet. You know, these are the guys making all the power moves right now, especially since Luffy has come to power. He's become a Yonko. He's overthrown 2 other Yonko. You know, he's really set the world on fire. You know, especially since returning back from, I would say, the 2-year time skip. So it's kind of hype to see how much stuff is going on. And then, oh, wait, there's more. He's like, the Navy Admiral Green Bull came here. I couldn't do anything. And then, oh, okay, we got Miss Bocking. It's Miss. She's like former Rocks pirate member, self-proclaimed scientist, Mad's resident, Miss Buckingham. Real name, Buckingham Stussy. All right, it was right. So shout out last reaction I had down in the comment section. You told me that Miss Bocking was Miss Buckingham Stussy. So good on you, my man. He's like, bring back my son and hand over the inheritance of Whitebeard Newgate. All right, come on, Miss Bocking. Reveal, is he actually Whitebeard's son? I mean, she's still going on like he is. And we see her looking, and she's like, Weevil. She's calling out as Weevil's getting taken. And then what's it say? It says, he went to prison for protecting his father's village. He's such a stubborn child. He's truly Newgate and my son. Well, thanks a lot for protecting the village. Damn, okay, maybe he really is the son. And it says, Marco, surely you believe that Whitebeard and Weevil are blood related, right? There's one person that can prove it, and it's Dr. Vegapunk. Oh, damn. And what do we got? It says, no, we will be on break next week. Damn. So right when we're kind of getting to the juiciness of it, are we about to have, you know, Marco and Miss Bocking and Weevil kind of meet up with the Straw Hats so that they can, you know, have Vegapunk confirm whether or not Weevil is really the son of Miss Buckingham and Whitebeard, or if he's actually just a clone, or if he's, you know, a real human but just not the son of Whitebeard, you know, whatever it is. And maybe will this be the first time that Stussy encounters the person she was cloned from, essentially, you know what I mean, in Miss Bocking. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things moving. Cipher Pol just got taken out, but now Kizaru's on the scene. Like, how are they gonna escape? Are we gonna see a Gear 5 Luffy actually take on an admiral, and an admiral as powerful as Kizaru? Like, you know, I know we kind of saw Green Bull show up at Wano, but in my mind, I feel like Kizaru being an OG admiral is probably stronger than Green Bull, especially, you know, because he can move at the speed of light. And he was like telling, I believe it was a Kainu or someone, when they heard about the pairing up between Big Mom and Kaido, he's like, oh, do you want me to head there and take care of it? Like, this man is like, oh, I can go and handle 2 Yonko on my own if you need me to. So yeah, I'm really hoping we get to see some Luffy versus Kizaru. I'm hoping we get to see Miss Bocking and them, kind of Marco maybe meet up with the Straw Hats in order to go save Weevil and to prove once and for all whether or not he's Whitebeard's son or whether or not he's a clone. But yeah, man, this is a good chapter. Definitely liking where the direction Oda is taking us, and he's kind of, you know, bringing in all these things. Like, I always felt like Weevil, when he got introduced and like his brief stint in the story, kind of just didn't really sit well. Like, I was like, why did we introduce him? Kind of, what was his purpose? Especially, you know, saying that he's Whitebeard's son, but then never really going into it, and then he kind of just, you know, disappeared until the Shishibukai were abolished. But I guess in some respects, he's kind of like when we introduced the supernovas, like, we didn't really get a whole lot for them. But now, as we've kind of progressed through the new world, you know, we've basically encountered almost all of the supernovas kind of in a more in-depth sense. I would say the only one we haven't really kind of contacted with is maybe a Rouge, but other than that, you know, it's been pretty hyped this entire time in the new world. So I'm definitely pumped to see where we're going when we get back from break. Let me know what you guys thought about this chapter. Let me know if I missed anything, or if you guys, you know, especially if you speak Japanese and you can pick up these little word games that Oda plays, definitely let me know down in the comment section. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed to the channel, and have a wonderful day.